VivoBarefoot is the biggest barefoot shoe company in the whole world, and until recently, the very best. But in the last year, things have started to feel a little bit off. There's new drops almost every week, constant sales, products mysteriously out of stock, and launches that don't always make sense, like the suede tracker Deacon hiking boot that just seem to drink water. Are they scrambling to meet demand or just seeing what sticks? Today, we're gonna dive into the company and see if they're about to explode to the moon or crash and burn. Welcome to the Barefoot Strength Project. Let's start by rewinding the clock. Founded in 2012 by Galahad Clark, a 7th generation shoemaker from the legendary Clark's family, VivoBarefoot was born out of a simple but very radical idea. Wind back the clock and make shoes that let your feet do what they are designed to do, move naturally and feel everything. The company made waves very early on by going against the grain of overly cushioned, overarched supporting footwear and instead promoting foot health, proprioception and more natural movement. If you haven't tried barefoot shoes before, that's normally accomplished with ultra thin, puncture resistant soles with zero drop, so very flat from the heel to the toe. Wide toe boxes so your toes can spread out, and a very flexible construction, which all comes together to mimic the experience of being barefoot, while also still offering protection. One of their big milestones came very early on with VivoBarefoot shoes being sold in over 100 countries, and from there, their footprint just kept on growing. They've since launched dedicated lines for trail running, hiking, everyday wear, kids, and even performance shoes for training and movement disciplines like these new ones they've just come out with, these road runners. But it's not just the product that makes VivoBarefoot a success. A big part of it is the philosophy behind it. The brand has always positioned itself at the intersection of health, sustainability, and innovation. Vivo invests over $3 million a year into research, movement, education, and health through their platform Vivo Health, which offers some really great courses that are well worth checking out. My very first pair of barefoot shoes were actually a lime green pair of Primus Lights back in 2017, and I've owned Vivos ever since, even starting this YouTube channel because of that journey. But what really drew me to VivoBarefoot at the very start over other barefoot shoe brands like Zero was their commitment to sustainability. Every shoe that they make is designed to be recyclable. They go out of their way to use bio-based and regenerative materials that avoid the landfill without compromising on the long-term durability of the shoe. They even went as far as launching ReVivo, which is a circular platform that refurbishes used shoes and resells them at a discounted price or returns them to their owners, which is one of the first of its kind. But here's where the cracks start to show. It's a fantastic initiative and a great way to get into barefoot shoes at a lower cost. But there is a catch. The better VivoBarefoot is at making durable, recyclable shoes, the fewer new shoes they need to sell. In a world built on infinite growth, that creates a very serious economic paradox. Unless barefoot shoes go fully mainstream, the company is eventually going to run into a ceiling where the commitment to sustainability starts clashing with the pressure to scale. And even if they do somehow manage to overcome that and grow, there is another issue. When I filmed the video, Why Are Barefoot Shoes So Expensive?, I was able to speak to the team at Vivo where they told me less than 1% of Vivos sold worldwide are sent back at their end of life, which includes 99% of the returns that come in from their 100-day returns program being forcibly entered into the ReVivo program, which means despite their best efforts, we consumers aren't doing our part, and an overwhelming number of their shoes are still going to be ending up in landfill. Now, they have tried to mitigate that by storing tens and thousands of used shoes rather than sending them to a landfill. But with only a fraction coming back for recycling and no scalable system in place, it does beg the question, what happens when circularity breaks under its own weight? The more they sell with seemingly never-ending sales and new product launches to entice consumers into another pair of Vivos, the more that problem grows. And here's the real kicker. Vivo is a single product business. They only sell shoes, so they can't afford to sell less without also risking their survival. So let's talk solutions. How do you grow without just pumping out more shoes? That got me thinking, what would a win-win situation look like for someone like me as a consumer and for them as a brand? Each product in their line already does fill a niche. The Primus Trails for trail running, the Forest ESCs for hiking, the Hydra ESC for swim run. You get the idea. There's always a very clear use case and a solution. But each of those pursuits don't stop at shoes. They require gear. So while the answer might not be pumping out more shoes, it might be completing the lifestyle. For trail running, you need shorts, you need a windbreaker, a base layer. For hiking, you need durable trousers and jackets with the right thermal ratings. Right now, that means me jumping down the YouTube rabbit hole or scouring page 10 of Google for sustainable gear brands that align with my values. It's a very scattered, inconsistent, and rarely sustainable user experience. But what if Vivo just showed me what I needed? What if I buy a pair of Primus Trails and then Vivo turns around and suggests a matching, sustainably made bit of apparel built for trail running? I'd buy it, no question about it. Vivo could own that space. They could create the first truly sustainable movement apparel line designed to work with your natural movement. They already have the trust, the design sensibility is there, the sustainability ethos exists, the knowledge of manufacture and textiles, and I bet they already work or could very easily create relationships with factories that manufacture gear for companies like Patagonia or Arc'teryx. And even if they don't, they're already partnered with some really amazing brands like Finisterre who do. They could lean into those partnerships while they build out their own product line. Very minimal investment, very maximal brand alignment. And it seems like a very natural next step. Imagine buying your Primus Trails and seeing a curated apparel kit built to last, built to move, and built with the same values right out the box. That isn't just good business, that's what sustainability should look like into 2025 and beyond. Vivo built their reputation by going against the grain, by doubling down on a single idea. Humans were born to move naturally. Now, in my opinion, they need to take that idea beyond footwear and evolve before they sell out. Otherwise, their biggest strength, sustainable shoes, might become their biggest limitation. So what do you think? Would expanding into sustainable apparel dilute their focus or deepen it? Would you buy kit from them if the quality and mission match their shoes? Let me know down in the comments, and as always, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you again next time.